if you don't want to watch a movie, we can always do something else." Alice forced a giggle, trying to ease the tension in the room. She raised her hand to brush her fingers down Jesse's spine. Her light touch on his shoulder caused him to jump, and his eyes popped open. Whipping his head around, Jesse growled at her as if she were the intruder. Alice pulled her hand back and glared at him, and the fear that she had tried so desperately to shut away stung her. "Jesse, what's wrong?" She stared up at him, studying him. The light in his eyes shifted, and Alice's gaze grew concerned. "Are you okay?" Alice asked, circling around him. Her eyes were trained on his face as she tried to find any sign of an injury. She sat down carefully on the edge of the tub and curled herself up. Her eyes filled with wonder and confusion. She had been with Jesse for so many years, she wondered if he had finally had enough of her. She waited for the confession. She could see the turmoil in his face as he struggled to speak, but still he remained silent. "Just say it already," Alice demanded as her heartbeat slammed into her chest. She wiped her hands on her jeans and waited. Jesse glanced at her and tossed his head about, causing water to sprinkle over Alice. She lifted her hand to block the spray. As Jesse settled and stared at her briefly before turning. Without a sound or even a whimper, he tore off the towel around his waist and let the animal loose. "Hey, not in the house!" Alice scolded as she followed the brown wolf out of the bathroom and into their bedroom. She paused at the door and used it as a shield as the wolf strolled out of the bedroom down the stairs. "Come on, Jesse, this isn't funny." Shock, and dread rattled Alice as she stalked the creature from the top floor. She was filled with bewilderment as she watched the massive animal stumble around the furniture. It let out a growl, and then it lunged for the front door, ripping the screen from the hinges. Alice raced down the stairs in a panic, attempting to follow him, but she was too late. By the time she had stepped outside and shifted, his scent had vanished. All that remained was the lingering wet fragrance of grass and gasoline as vehicles drove down the street. In the distance, she spotted a dark shadow moving too swiftly to be a wolf, but it too vanished with a crack of lightning above her. "Jesse!" Alice's cry faded from his ears as he pushed himself further and faster than ever before. The need to hunt overpowered him as he dodged oncoming vehicles and raced to get to the woods. With his nails scraping into the asphalt, Jesse skidded to a stop. On the wind, a familiar scent caught his attention. Slowly and steadily, he stalked through the night, following the brief whiffs of the scent that caused the hairs on the back of his neck to rise. Through the rain and wind, Jesse hunted down the musky aroma until he found himself at the window of a house. "That's the one," he thought as he glared in through the window. A growl ripped through his body as he stared at the withered man inside. With his heart racing and muscles twitching, he waited for his moment. There was only one thing on his mind, one thing that would make the craving go away. Jesse licked his snout and watched as animal desires and cravings overpowered his human self.